For my second video, I decided to tackle possibly the most difficult question there is in the content field. What's the right approach to content and ROI? Now, I want to state it clearly. I'm not going to present any clear formula to getting ROI with content, because I don't have one and I don't think one exists. If I had it, I assume I'd be a billionaire. I do have this. I know the common misconception there is in the startup world regarding content and ROI, and I have an alternative view. The common conception is that there are two types of content marketers. The artists,
Forget revenues. This video speaks of a deeper truth.
and the money guy.
100K investment, 10K AI articles, you're looking at 2.5 ROCS. Return on content spend.
Both approaches fall short. In this video, I'll introduce a third way, one that balances ROI with real value for your audience. Here's what I'm going to cover in this video: the indirect connection between content and ROI, what we can learn about content ROI from the movie Barbie, and the elements needed for a truly effective content ROI strategy. First, why is there a challenge connecting ROI and content? In the book Obliquity, Why Our Goals Are Best Achieved Indirectly, sorry, I only have the Kindle version, economist John Kay shows that in complex systems, chasing a single metric in a straight line often backfires. He calls this the profit-seeking paradox. When companies obsess about profits, they rarely achieve lasting success. Yet when they concentrate on goals like building better products, delighting customers, or mastering their craft, profit naturally follows as a side effect. Throughout the book, Kay illustrates this idea with compelling case studies from ICI, which lost its way by shifting focus from chemistry to shareholders, to Boeing, whose decline began when financial targets took over. Kay writes, ICI and Boeing were more successful as profit-making companies when they served customers internationally through responsible application of chemistry, or ate, breathed, and slept the world of aeronautics than when they try to maximize value for our shareholders. So while it is very alluring, especially nowadays, to be solely committed to increasing ROI, we do need an additional focus, what Kay calls an oblique approach. This could mean a lot of things for different companies, but for content marketing, it usually means focusing on the value to the audience. Like Seth Godin puts it, marketing is the generous act of helping someone solve a problem, their problem. Marketing helps others become who they seek to become. This looks like such a worn-down statement, but I find it really helpful in avoiding the trap of over-focusing on revenue goals. Let's see this play out in a different area, movies, and more specifically, the huge success of the movie Barbie. There are two key reasons why Barbie became such a massive success. First, the marketing engine. This part is well documented. There's a great breakdown by TLDR Business. I'll link the video below. Barbie didn't just rely on red carpets and talk shows. It went all in on paid, earned, and owned media. What really stood out were the creative brand collaborations. Barbie-themed versions of everything from clothing lines to homeware. The goal was to make Barbie into a cultural phenomenon. And it worked. But it's the second reason that is more interesting. The real differentiator was the unexpected choice of Greta Gerwig as director. Known for her thoughtful indie films, Gerwig brought a distinct creative voice to a project that could have easily become another forgettable blockbuster. Let's hear what she had to say.
I always wanted it to be, really funny and really beautiful and sort of dazzling. And then I always had this dream that at the end you'd be like, why am I crying? What's going on? How is this possible? It just that I wanted it to be able to sneak up on you.
Gerwig's dedication to the movie and her art is very clear from the clip. The result, over $1.4 billion worldwide, one of the highest grossing films ever. Let's play What If. What if Barbie was created without Gerwig and was over-obsessed with revenues? So producers decide to make a Barbie movie. Their first step, they want ROI. they decide to use the Avengers movie as a blueprint. They spend millions of dollars. They premiere a movie that you just know is gonna be bad. Maybe it still makes some money and maybe it doesn't. It can easily bomb. Now the other way. Producers decide to make a Barbie movie. They want ROI, but also a movie that audiences will love. They choose a director who's dedicated to the craft of making great movies, and the end result is the movie Barbie. Take this to the content marketing business. It might sound strange that this is the first necessary step for content ROI, but it is. The first step is asking, what is the benefit to the user? And here, it's dangerously easy to convince yourself and your stakeholders that you're helping the user, when in fact you're publishing more AI-generated content or yet another generic listicle garbage. You justify it to yourself. It's informative, it's relevant, it's quick to produce, but it takes a content specialist to call bullshit. Because someone with real content experience can spot when something sounds helpful but actually delivers no real value. In the next videos, I'll break down the actual process I use to drive content ROI. But for now, I want to show you how I frame content ROI to the clients I serve. So you can't really expect the first video to generate instant ROI. That's not how content works. Instead, I set clear milestones. Each one builds on the last one as the content strategy rolls out. Let's say I'm working with a CFO who helps startups. We're building their personal brand as an authority CFO. The first set of goals, outputs. We commit to a content cadence. If we're not publishing consistently, there's no way to reach our ROI targets. Once outputs are in place, we move to proxy metrics. Proxy metrics tell us if we're getting early signals that the content is working, even before hard ROI shows up. For the CFO, that could look like likes, shares, and comments, increased reach, increased engagement from startup founders, more replies on their DMs, and so on. Then we reach the third level, brand impact. This is where we start to see real traction in the market. We're looking at personal brand mentions, direct searches for the CFO's name or business, alerts through tools like Mention or Clearwater, and these signals tell us that the brand is becoming a recognized voice in the space. Finally, and this is usually something that comes after a few months into the work and consistent publishing, we start looking at direct revenue metrics. That's when content starts showing up in sales conversation, when leads mention a specific post we published, when a deal closes and the first touch point was something we created. That's when we impact ROI. This is the point where content shifts from a brand building effort to being a clear driver of business growth. This was obviously just an example, and each project requires planning for specific goals, but I think it shows quite nicely how you can set realistic ROI goals and indicators of progress, and this helps you determine if your content efforts were ROI positive. That's it for today's video. Join me next as I continue to explore this interesting topic of content ROI.